Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. In the last episode, Edgeworth has returned! That is freaking crazy, and he told us a whole bunch of things about Adrian Andrews, that she had a suicide attempt because her mentor also committed suicide due to various reasons, and we also found out that she was getting close to Juan in order to get Celeste's suicide note, which went missing. So, yeah, now we're going on into the trial. I don't exactly know what's going to happen here, but let's get going. I know we're going to cross-examine Oldbag, though. Not excited about that. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way! That woman can do anything like that! In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For myself, you must win today's trial, which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial opens, even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? March 22nd, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Man on Guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. She's gone. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor. Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Prosecutor Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she disappeared, this would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. That's good. Phew. Yo! I thought he'd show up. Edgeworth! What's up? Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Let's go, Edgeworth. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Isn't that exactly the same shoulder that Manfred Von Karma was shot in? Or was it his left shoulder? I can't remember. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Oh, he's sad. Witness, your name and occupation.
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now.
For now?
After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir!
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facts of this case, we must start with that.
Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight.
Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth.
This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Awards ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corda, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
Okay.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir.
I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony?
Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah.
Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about?
She's the defendant, Madame Guard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir.
Oh, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence.
When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. On guard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir.
I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Corda was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real bro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana.
Banana.
His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped around tightly around his neck, sir.
Oh, yes, I see.
His banana-scented bandana.
Then what about the knife?
It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought of that too, but...
But?
The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims? Huh.
I see.
Oh, so much for my theory then. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case?
The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corda, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel?
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all.
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Matt on guard and Juan Corda were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in Mr. Unguard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this as a premeditated murder. Wait a minute, bought the knife? Isn't that a hotel knife? So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Do we have a plate? God damn it! He didn't buy the knife, that's a hotel knife. And then there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood. Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like, just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Alright, hold on. Matt and On Guard and Juan Corda were huge rivals with each other. Okay, we knew that. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? Huh? I don't get you, pal. Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously, and that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it! They're a perfect match, pal! That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in the guard's hakama. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corda. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So was the defendant the owner of this knife, then? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a... It's a freaking hotel knife. It's a hotel knife! He didn't buy it! Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument was that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll know what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. that's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel, Murder Manor. Oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? Frick off, Edgeworth. I think... This theme, bro. I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this except Gumshoe over here. But I didn't know... Oh... The question is... Where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious! It came from the victim, Mr. Kuroda's room. No. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. There's a knife missing! Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt on guard's knife was missing. Mr. on guard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. God damn it. Fuck you. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth! Absolutely brilliant! A brilliantly clear deduction! It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time, although I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to pretend to this court? Do I? Dude, I don't know. Suicide report, I don't fucking know. Wine glass. Guitar case. No, they've seen the guitar case. They have not... They've seen the crime photo. Wine glass. Out of everything here, it's probably the wine glass. Magazine clipping. Lotta's camera. Bro, I don't know. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh my god. Fuck. I think I may have royally fucked up. Wine glass? This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Oh, well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? Shut up, Edgeworth. It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place, by the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I mean, it's a possibility. Like, are we really just gonna... I'm gonna bluff. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Frick off, come on. You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Oh, frick. That is why I said the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corda. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor, and from here on out I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth! I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Oh, God. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation...
Gotcha.
I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand?
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm gonna tell you anything and everything, even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime was all the court needs to know.
Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam. No, please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corda.
But those two were the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, mad on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
Why does that feel like her very first testimony from Turnabout Samurai? She was like, it was Powers, and he was coming out of the studio or something like that. So Mr. On Guard came out of the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay. Something you were interested in? And just what was that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? If this has something to do with the case, then you can append it to your testimony.
It looks like we shouldn't force it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, not on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
You saw my client? Are you sure about that?
Yesy.
Really?
Annoying brat! When I say I saw someone, I saw that person!
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a mess like last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now, what was it? Oh, yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
He was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men.
Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? I think so, actually. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Shut up. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right. Witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must.
I know exactly what's wrong. Miss Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
That's button number 2 on the Gem and Ninja's costume!
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Get it here! Get it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punch you with this!
Wow. She really is a die-hard fan to the one a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. On Guard's body during a full-body search.
See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was a rascal on guard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants.
See? See? And on guard is the nickel samurai.
Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now didn't you say that the defendant, Matt on Guard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people and based on what they wear! If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you'd think I was the gorgeous woman in front of us, and you'd agree that this habit is hideous. When I got a tape recorder stuck on my chest, let me tell you, it's heavy! So heavy! I wish I would understand to see these games. I'm dripping the kind of life, whatever else. Don't you understand? Now take a look at mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary, and currently you should take a tipper. He's got style.
Now hold your tongue there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. On Guard, the man, but Mr. On Guard, the Nickel Samurai.
But when you think about it...
This is deja vu.
They're really one and the same anyway.
Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, don't you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth thinking about. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
All right, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you.
On guard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Ah, young'uns today. I told you there was no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Alright, I think that's where we're gonna stop for today. We're gonna finish cross-examining Oldbag next time. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet! Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload! Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!